We're always hearing about the top 5 things, or this is the one must do. All of this is about building a business. But what if we knew that there was one thing that always kills a business very quickly? That's what this podcast is about. Let's dive in now and make sure that you're avoiding the one big avenue that's guaranteed to kill your business very quickly. Let's get stuck in right now. So it's a bit of a clickbait heading of sorts. Look, we always get into a situation where we're hearing people talking about what needs to be done, the ways in which they grow your business. You know, we've all read the blogs, we've all listened to podcasts, we've all done things that is all about how to get more clients, how to grow, the 5 magical steps to the 7 strategies that will guarantee, etc. But here's the challenge, is that most of that is all about the ways to build and grow. But one of the mentors that I learned a lot from many years ago now, over a several year period, I did a lot of work with Keith Cunningham, one of the forefathers of business development and understanding of business financials. He's still, he's in Texas. He hasn't left Texas for the last couple of years, and he's not going to do any more international travel. And he's a great old bloke that still does lecturing for Harvard and Yale for people in their MBA courses, because a lot of them don't understand the first year of financials in the MBA courses with Harvard and Yale. And as a net result, he's called in to actually help them bring them up to speed. He's an absolute genius. And if you want to know more about the ways in which you can kill your business really quick, which is very rarely spoken of, go and get his book, The Road Less Stupid. Great book, phenomenal outcomes. And the premise is this, is that we spend so much time talking about ways to build the business, talking about like the 7 secrets, the 5 steps, the 3 ways to guarantee. But whilst ever we do things and do more, we're always adding on. We're always bolting on this. We're always then doing the next avenue, the next step, the more. And whilst it's a very great mentality to have, and hey, it drives us for success, it enables us to achieve more success, to be more, to have more. It's a very great way of putting things. But the challenge is that, like Keith says, you will really struggle to think of the top, say 3, right? The top 3 things that you did that gave you the biggest benefit. Now, if you stop and think about it, you're probably going to sit there and go, what are the 3 things that I did that drove the best amount of growth or economic benefit to your business? And you might be sitting there listening to this now thinking, it's, and there's a pause. And there's always a long pause, because you might be able to think of one. Oh yeah, that's right. We did that JV. We did the JV with that, and that led to this and that. And in the last 2 years, it's, that's like $420,000 worth of, okay, great, right? That's one. What's the second one? And then you're going to go, and you start to think hard. Then we start to move into what's the third one. And the premise is it will take you quite a few minutes to do that. And a lot of the time when people do this, they'll finish the third one, they go, oh no, actually there was a bigger one. It was actually probably this. And this one, because that would be the third one, so that other one was the fourth one. And it just gets convoluted. Yet what if we change around the paradigm into what are the 3 biggest losses or the 3 biggest mistakes? What were they and how much were they worth? It's a lot easier. And I remember the very first time I did this with Keith, I turned around and said, oh, that's easy. The first one was, and I went blah, 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 and it was worth $86,500. And I still remember it. I won't talk about it now, but I still remember it as $86,500. It hurt. It was painful. There was one particular avenue that we knew, boom, $86,500. And he goes, wow. And the second one? I said, oh, there was such and such, and it was about 44,000, 45,000 over a 3 or 4 month period. And he goes, wow, okay. And the third one was, whatever it was, $20,000 or $30,000, right? And he turned around, and the whole premise is, So you much more easily know of the 3 biggest mistakes and what they hurt and cost you than the 3 biggest benefits moving forward. And so this is not to say we should be thinking negatively, but it is to be turning around and saying one of the best ways to, kill your business is by not looking at some of the negative side of things. And so we need to obviously work on the steps and the strategies and the next dot points and all of these success criteria, but we have to take that mentality of looking at the biggest losses, looking at the biggest mistakes, and understanding why, learning from them and making amends, being better, putting in contingency plans, strategizing better so that we don't have those mistakes. And so when we take that approach, we have no choice but to look at the big, glaring, obvious avenue of what is the biggest killer of business, and that is simply this. Business is lonely, and if you try and go business alone, it will be the biggest and quickest killer of your business. It's as simple as that. We know every single great business owner will always tell you that to go fast, go alone. But to go far, go together. Business is lonely. A business owner gets lonely. You don't know if things are right because we're not that good ourselves as individuals. We have to learn from other people. There are success criteria in place that we have to see from other people. Jim Rohn taught the world that success leaves clues. What is it that made that person or that team successful? What was the key ingredient in those 7 steps, the 5 this, the 3, whatever it is, right? Everyone can learn from that. But there's specific understandings of how case studies work, how masterminds work, how roundtables work, how you can work in and around, small groups and have different coaches and mentors that are going to enable you to not walk down that dark alley and get into trouble. And that's the biggest killer of businesses. And funnily enough, in Australia and in the health and medical industry, it is seriously underseen, undervalued, and underutilized. Too many of us believe that we can do everything, that we know how to do this. We get empowered by people saying, we learn from our mistakes and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. But what if you could guarantee that you didn't make the mistakes in the first place? What if we could put those avenues in place so that you're not doing the easy 3 things for Keith Cunningham that destroyed your business? And instead, it was a lot harder to think about and know what the 3 biggest mistakes were because they weren't big mistakes. It was only 20 grand. And so I don't know, there was a whole bunch of 10 or 20 grand ones we don't really know because the only mistakes we've made are only low-level mistakes. And so my challenge to you is this. When was the last time you reached out for help? When was the last time you worked in a mastermind group? When was the last time you worked with some round tables? When was the last time you had a coach or a mentor or some colleagues look at your game plan? Break things down. Look at what they, would want to give you as pieces of advice. Let's look at breaking down that plan the strategic plan, and let's get people to critique it, offer suggestions, get things moving forward. Because here's the thing. Even if there are people that might not have a business with as many zeros on the right hand side of the balance sheet and P&Ls as what you do, there's still, I guarantee, so many points of important information that you can learn from them moving forward. So ultimately, it's this. This is about all of us understanding that if you want to kill your business quickly, the quickest way to do it is to ignore people's advice. It's to go it alone and try and, save yourself $1,000 by not paying for such and such. And ultimately, all it's going to do is destroy your time and your effort, your personal life, what's happening with family, kids, etc. And it's going to kill the business. If you want to go far, you've got to go together. We've got to learn together. We've got to look at the success clues. We've got to be able to pick people's brains as to what works, what doesn't work, how did they find this, or if this is what you were doing, what do you think is the problem that, that I haven't foreseen, etc. We have to be able to do that, work together, learn together, and move forward. It's the only way for you to be able to get ahead. Business is lonely. If you allow yourself to go by yourself in the world of business, I guarantee it's the quickest and best way for you to build your business. Let's not make that mistake. Let's not have that as one of our big 3 mistakes that you could easily answer to Keith Cunningham or anyone else for that matter. Let's make sure that we work together. You get the right advice. Success leaves clues. Let's not make business a lonely place. Let's support each other. Let's get stuck in. If you want some help or some advice around how to do that or what might work best to you, hit me up, let me know. There's plenty of different options for people in loads of different places and avenues. And let's all make sure that together we make our business community stronger. Let's all get more benefit, and let's make sure that business isn't the lonely place that so many people allow it to be. I'll talk to you again very soon. Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.